Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me here again today. So, today we are talking about something very unpopular. So today we are talking about popular fragrances that I do not care for. I have to make the disclaimer, just because I don't like these does not mean that they are bad fragrances. In fact, none of these are bad fragrances as far as poorly constructed, poor quality, what have you. The fragrance houses they belong to are not poor quality either. And no disrespect if any of these are your signature scent or something that you absolutely love. I don't know why we have to make 1,000 disclaimers twice till Sunday, but there you have it. You do not need to be offended by a stranger's opinion on YouTube that you've never met before. So I am not that important to your life. If any of this upsets you, then please just click out of this video, and I'm totally okay with that. So I don't know exactly how many fragrances this is going to end up being. I'm just going to talk until I run out of fragrances that are popular that I actually don't like. Let's just jump right into it. The first fragrance that I want to talk about that I was not a fan of, and I've never been a fan of it, and this is going to shock a lot of people because it's one of the best selling fragrances in the whole world. But it is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. I will say that I think the men's offerings are better than the women's offerings. I have not tried any of the light blue flankers, so there's that. I'm just talking about the original. I do like the intense version for women better than the original, but the original is something that just does not work for me. Now, I will say I do like citrus fragrances. This is very citrus heavy fragrance. It's very classically fresh. Some people would say it's aquatic. I see it's watery, but not necessarily aquatic to me. It's more so just a citrus bomb, which I enjoy, but the particular citrus that's in this fragrance, when it settles on my skin, on my body chemistry, it starts to smell like citronella or bug repellent, and it's just it's not a pleasant smell to me. Now, if I spray this in the air or on a tester strip in a department store, it's gorgeous. I enjoy it on other people. On myself, it turns into bug spray. And so it's just not a good smell for me. I don't enjoy it, and so that's why this one is a pass. The second one, again, these are in no particular order, so I'm not rating them. The second one that I want to talk about is La Nuit Tresor from Lancome. Again, super popular here on YouTube. So I tried this on my skin on multiple occasions because I really wanted to like it. I love it out of the bottle. I think it's really nice, but I just don't know. The composition of this fragrance confuses my nose a little bit. So the chocolatey praline aspects of it with that strawberry note that's in there, I don't know which one to blame it on, but there's a sourness that happens when it settles on my skin. It smells sour, almost like chocolate gone bad. So I don't know if it's the strawberry that's sour or if it's the praline note. It's one of those. But as it dries down and I walk around, it smells like sour chocolate, and it's not doing it for me. So that's why La Nuit Tresor from Lancome is gonna be a pass for me as well. The next one that I wanna talk about is actually a niche fragrance, and this one is Beach Hut Woman from Amouage. Now, I wanted to love this so much. I loved the driftwood aspect of it. I think there was some salt in there, I can't remember. But this was one of those fragrances where I sprayed it on my skin, loved the opening. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be everything that I wanted it to be and more. The story of the fragrance was over quite quickly, so those top notes faded in seconds, and then whenever it got to the base, it was just patchouli on me. That's all that I detected. It wasn't a bad patchouli. It was a very clean, crisp patchouli. It wasn't like a dirty, earthy patchouli. So it was nice, and I even got that, you could tell whenever you sprayed it that there was such a huge concentration of oils because the quality in Amouage is incredible. And so it was beautiful, but it's not worth, in my opinion, I would never spend the money on that pricey of a fragrance, $300 plus. I wouldn't spend the money on that fragrance for just my ending result to just be straight patchouli, which is all that I got from it. Now I'm sure it works differently on other people, but that's all that happened on my skin, and so that's why that one's gonna have to be a pass as well. The next fragrance that I wanna talk about is a very, very affordable fragrance, and it's also very hyped on YouTube, and that is from Zara, and it is from the tobacco collection, and it is Rich, Warm, Addictive. I know that's gonna hurt some feelings out there. It's gonna hurt some feelings. Again, I wanted to like this so much. When I got it in the mail, I ripped open the box in the car. I didn't even wait till I got home, and I sprayed it all over me. It smelled so good for a few minutes, and I don't know if it's just because it's Zara. It's my only experience with a Zara fragrance. It's my only one, so I have nothing to compare it to. I have no idea. I will not speak to the quality of all of their other fragrances because I have no idea. But for the Rich, Warm, Addictive, I loved the vanilla aspect of it. And so I don't know if it was the boozy notes in there that were giving me this awful metallic vibe. And it was not a good metallic. It was like a non-intentional metallic note. But it was so metallic when it dried down, and it was so screechy that I couldn't really enjoy it. And so I don't really know what that's all about. You know, I even sprayed it around my husband, and my husband wasn't getting that. He wouldn't describe himself as having, you know, a sophisticated nose or anything, nor would I, but I have a little bit more experience with fragrance. And I sprayed it around him, and he was like, it just smells like vanilla. I don't know what you're complaining about. And I was like, I don't know what I'm smelling, but it is a screechy metallic note, and I cannot handle it. And so I passed it along to somebody else who was super grateful to have it. So that is why Zara Rich, Warm, Addictive did not work for me. Sorry for those whose feelings that hurts. Okay, another fragrance that is really hyped that I really am not a fan of, and this might just be a maturity thing. This might just be over the years thing. I didn't know about it whenever it was popular, so I don't know if it used to be good and it's not anymore. But Britney Spears Fantasy, I don't get it. And I've actually purchased it and given it away twice. I've purchased 2 different bottles thinking that surely I would like this because I do like gourmands. I do like sweeter fragrances. And again, I don't discriminate between designer, niche, affordable, whatever, celebrity. But truly, I think that whatever is in there, I think I might be anosmic to it. I can't even really tell you what this fragrance smells like, because I think I'm anosmic to it. There's something about it where like my nose cannot recognize notes in there. And so it just smells like I'm really sorry to say this. It just smells like a big mess. And there's people who love it. And I'm like, oh man, I don't mind smelling like a vanilla cupcake. I'm about that life. Britney Spears Fantasy was not giving me that life. Not the fragrance's fault. I just can't detect anything in there, and it just smells like a big alcohol mess to me. So I'm really sorry. That's gonna step on a few toes too. Britney Spears Fantasy, not a fan. The next one that I want to talk about may make me a little bit of a hypocrite, not because I've talked about it here on my channel, but because I've owned it and I went through an entire bottle of it. I don't like it anymore, should I say. I did like it at one point. Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. Now, this served me well for a brief period of time, but it wore out its welcome really, really quickly. First of all, it fades really fast. Second of all, there's not a whole lot of character to it, in my opinion. There's not a whole lot of body to it. It's just sweet, fruity caramel, and that's it. Like, it doesn't develop any further. It doesn't last very long. It's not those notes amped up on any level. It's just very, very, it's like a thin, watery formula is the best way I can describe it, because you spritz yourself, you could soak your clothes in it and then go about your day, and I don't know, I don't smell it anymore. The caveat to that is I couldn't smell myself anymore having sprayed it and gone about my day. But I remember it is the only fragrance. I don't have a huge collection, but out of the collection that I do have, it is the only fragrance where someone has chased me down in a parking lot to ask me what it is that I'm wearing. So take that with a grain of salt. It was Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. So So if compliments are important to you, definitely buy it. And if sweet syrupy caramel notes are your vibe, then definitely go for it. It wasn't interesting enough for me, and like I said, it served me for a period of time, but gentlemen certainly seem to love it, so, you know, do with that what you will. So that is Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. If you want to blind buy fragrances, by the way, you do you. Nothing wrong with it. What's the worst that can happen? You just give it away to somebody who is excited to have it. We all do it, so let's not pretend like we don't do it. This one is gonna hurt. Poison Girl from Dior. I can like hear people unsubscribing right now. There's no shortage of reviews out for this particular fragrance, and it's got a huge following, as it should. I just wasn't prepared for how much of like a baby powder, maybe not baby powder, it is a powdery bomb. I was looking for something a little bit more dense, a little bit darker, and what I experienced with this particular fragrance was very, very powdery, and almost powdery to the point where like powder is not necessarily a category, but any sort of powder note. I know that it's really heavy in tonka beans, and I know that tonka beans can go one of two ways. It can either go sweet and gourmand or it can go super powdery. I'm not crying, I'm having coughing fits. Tonka beans can either go sweet and gourmand or they can go super, super powdery. So I'm learning that as I'm discovering fragrances and educating myself, educating my nose, as it were. Next to overly animalic fragrances, powdery fragrances are probably my least favorite thing ever. Any kind of powder, whether it's makeup powdery like iris or whether it's baby powder, anything like that, any kind of powdery nuances to fragrances, I'm not typically a fan of. So that's really just a matter of taste, but it's a very, very popular fragrance that just did not work for me in any way. So that is Poison Girl from Dior. So I will end this video on one that is maybe a little less controversial, because I feel like people either love this fragrance or hate it. I wouldn't say that I hate it, but I'm definitely not a fan, and that is Chanel No. 5. I can appreciate it for the icon that it is. I can appreciate it for the time that it was created, but it is not something that I am a fan of. It's very, again, it's something that goes a little bit bug spray on me, if I'm honest. You know, aside from, obviously it's very vintage smelling, it's very old fashioned, it's very classic, very aldehyde heavy, a bit powdery. I love the idea of Chanel No. 5, and when I smell it, it definitely is an experience in my opinion, but on the skin, on me, it's not something that I can pull off, and it's not something I enjoy smelling on myself. That you either love it or hate it. I don't think there's any way you can be in between on Chanel No. 5, but Chanel No. 5 is my final fragrance of something that is very popular, but unfortunately does not work for me. All right, guys, so there you have it. I don't know how many fragrances that was, but I'll add them up and put them on the video title. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that too many of you didn't feel like you got your toes stepped on. It's okay. You're a good person if you like any of these fragrances. It's just one of those things. That's why millions and millions and millions of fragrances exist, because you can't please everybody with the same thing. Diversity is a beautiful thing. We all have different perspective, different tastes, different interpretations of fragrance. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you'll be in the know whenever I upload future videos. If you guys have been coming back to my channel for a while, but you haven't chosen to subscribe, please consider subscribing. I've noticed that about 84% of my views come from people who are not subscribed to me. And so if it's your first time checking my channel out, absolutely no pressure whatsoever. If I'm not your cup of tea, then I totally get it. And, you know, I would much rather you subscribe to someone that you enjoy watching. But if you keep coming back and you've chosen for whatever reason not to subscribe, please consider subscribing. It would really help me out. I am looking for this to be my full-time job someday, I hope. Any feedback in the comments would be greatly appreciated. Please make sure it's constructive criticism to me and to each other. And with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.